Hey, transfer students, William Marzella here. Welcome to the USC Transfer Student Experience podcast, where I interview other transfer students and industry professionals that were also transfer students to get tips and tricks on how to apply for jobs, making it in the job market, and business philosophy. On this week's episode, I interview Haley Barnes, a transfer student to the Business Administration program here at USC, who's also heading the recruiting department of TSC. Haley takes me through her background in fashion and how it applies to her goals to get into human resources. Hope you enjoy. We'll speak soon.
Student experience.
The Transfer Student Experience.
The transfer student experience.
The Transfer Student
Haley,
Experience.
thanks for joining us. Loose agenda for today is we'll talk a little bit about your background, how you got to transfer into USC, and most likely delve into where you see yourself going after college. And we can sprinkle in thoughts about society and the business world throughout. How does that sound?
Yeah, it sounds good to me.
Cool. So I know a little bit about you, but you'll have to correct me. Simi Valley,
Correct.
and you are now studying communications.
So business administration.
So let's talk about that.
My first year of college, I went to the University of Alabama, and then freshman year did not like that at all. And so I came back and then did Moore Park College, which is like the town over from Simi. I did that for a year, and then applied to the USC, got in spring, which I was like kind of iffy about. I didn't know if I wanted to do spring, and I had also gotten into LMU, which was fall. So it was between LMU going in the fall and like not having a semester off, or going to SC and then missing another semester. And obviously I ended up choosing SC. And then I took that semester to just work at Abercrombie. And then I came here in January. I want to go into human resources, but there's not a major you could do with human resources. So you could either do like communications or business administration. And like I want my business degree anyways, so I decided to do the business administration route, and then I'll end up having to get a master's in human resources. That will be extra time after. It's a lot going on.
And so masters, right?
Yes.
Why do you need a master's? Why can't you just get a HR position straight out of college?
I mean, you can try, but getting a master's is just going to set you above. It will make myself look better on a resume having a master's in human resources, just instead of just having that business degree from SC. Doing that would like set me above other people, which is one of the reasons why I want to do it.
Gotcha. So it adds a bit of specificity. And in terms of where you want to do that, would you consider doing it at SC? I'm not sure if they offer a master's of HR, or is it, would you want to do it like where you want to get a job on the East Coast?
Yeah, I was thinking was like NYU, because I know they do offer like a human resources master degree. So that was like my top choice. I believe SC does offer it, which is like, do I want to be here and where it's not the place that I want to end up being and do it here, or do I want to go on the East Coast and like do it, which is like I think one of the reasons why I do want to do it at NYU is because that's where I want to end up like being, is in New York. So
Yeah. And you sort of get to like a beta test of the areas whether you can be working in, as opposed to just doing it somewhere else and then just moving there and jumping straight into the deep end and sort of being unfamiliar with the territory and things like that. Working in retail, were there sort of parallels that you could draw from there and apply them to like human resources? What do
Oh
you
no,
feel?
yeah, for sure. Because with human resources, you're working with the employees of a company, you're like solving problems, helping, just making sure like the company's not going to get sued, really. And because I was a manager at Abercrombie, and so I was constantly dealing with like customers and making sure my employees or associates were actually doing their work and making sure they're staying on top of their tasks and just like treating the customers right, because obviously customers are the number one priority. I think honestly everyone should do a retail job just because you get that experience with working with other people and having the one-on-one interaction constantly with someone else. I just think it's honestly so good to get that experience.
And that's the beauty of sales and business is that if you do something in one industry, very transferable in another industry. I mean, human nature doesn't change. And so a lot of what you probably experienced in dealing with customers won't change industry to industry. So yeah, for sure. And in terms of wanting to go into retail, what was your reason? Was it just because it was the easiest job at the time? Or was there a particular passion that you had for that sort
Um,
of stuff?
so the first job I had was my senior year of high school and it was fast food. And I like did not want that to do that again. And I needed another job once I came back from Alabama and they were hiring. So I just applied and I knew people that worked there and like loved it. So obviously I got the job. I did the associate position for like a year and then I got promoted. But I think what drew me in is like just constantly like you're interacting with someone. I like organization, so you're constantly like cleaning and like organizing the clothes. I don't know, and it was something completely different than fast food. So I just like I kind of wanted the complete other end of the spectrum. So
In terms of being promoted, was that something that you pushed for? Was that something that they sort of saw and
like obviously they had that position up like for grabs since the other person before me quit. And, like, I really wanted that position. You'd be getting more hours. It was a full-time so if you're management, it's full-time, whereas if you're associate, it's part-time. And I really wanted the full-time job. Just, like, that experience and having that on the resume would be, like, amazing. So I really wanted it. The managers knew I wanted it, and they also, like, knew I could handle it. I kinda pushed for it, like, telling them to, like, give me the interview and stuff because you obviously had an interview for it and everything. I guess I pushed for it. I told them I really wanted it. I guess I did make the initiative to do it.
key point that we wanted to talk about today was sort of independence, right? Because I think a lot of people, especially our age now, I guess are looking for a little bit more purpose and meaning. And sometimes that meaning can come through running your own business or doing fulfilling work for someone else. So I was sort of wondering from you, like, where do you see yourself fitting in? Did you want to go off and start your own brand or product line or business, or did you want to sort of be human resources for someone else specifically?
I don't have that drive to, like, start my own business, kinda, like, that's not something I wanna do. When I was younger, I always wanted to be in fashion, so doing it at Abercrombie, which is obviously a fashion company, like, I could see myself in another fashion company, but only doing, like, human resources and solely focusing on that, which is kinda why I wanted to go into management at Abercrombie, and plus, like, you network with the, like, general manager and like the national manager of the brand. So then it just like opens up your opportunities for that. So like I could potentially go into human resources for Abercrombie, but who knows? I
And there's definitely plenty of choice in LA for fashion companies for sure.
don't know for sure.
Well, we were talking a little bit about the other night, right? Like in terms of positioning yourself ahead of the herd. I think a large portion of why someone would listen to this is to sort of figure out, okay, how do I be unique? Especially in a world where there's just so much competition. I mean, you're up against everyone, and especially in the fashion industry, right? Very saturated industry. You're probably not the only person wanting to work in HR for a
Yeah.
fashion company. So, I mean, how do you see yourself stand out from the rest?
For myself personally, I think it's just I really have that like drive to work, whereas a lot of people don't. They solely want to go into a job because it's gonna make them they're gonna make a lot of money from it. And it's like, oh, the money is what's driving them. And it's like for me, it's helping the company, helping the people, making sure that company's like doing the right thing, not just like the money aspect of it. And people just follow what their parents do. So
Yeah, it's funny because as soon as you start pursuing it for money, that's when you don't get the money.
no, yeah.
That's the quickest way to fail at something.
I think also what it is, you have to have a drive for what you're doing. It can't solely be, oh, I want to like do it for money. You have to have a passion for what you're doing. And if you're just doing it solely for money and you don't have a passion for it, you're going to be so unhappy. Like that's not going to fulfill you. You're just putting in the hours to get money. Like you're not doing it because it makes you happy or because it brings you like satisfaction. It's literally nothing.
Often when you're starting out, you have little to no money. And so if you go into it thinking, yes, I want to make the money, and then you encounter those situations where you're not making the money, you're going to quit. Whereas if you have that passion, like you're saying, that gets you through those tough situations because you're like, no, this thing is bigger than myself. This is a passion that I have. This is my life sort of calling. And so you'll push through the hard times and end up making money. So it's very paradoxical in that, like, to make money, you have to do it for something other than money.
Exactly. Just like these people, all they want to do, like that's their sole focus is to make money. Like it's not a good way to live your life at all. To put, like they say, happy or money brings you happiness, whatever that saying is. Like at a certain extent it does, but then once you hit a hard time and you don't have the money anymore and you're in a job where you just wanted it for the money, it's like, what do you do now? Like there's literally nothing for you to do because you're solely doing it for money.
I worked at the bookstore, in my undergrad.
Hmm.
So I sort of had that experience of, working as a student. And I feel like a lot of the time, the people that are working there are purely just working there for money, right? Myself included, really. I mean, I didn't do it because I thought that this would be my calling, right? I'm not
Oh yeah.
folding t-shirts for the rest of my life. But I definitely think that those experiences can sort of teach us the wrong thing, right? Like we're learning, oh, this is what it's about. Oh, it's just about making money and just doing the bare minimum and not really being passionate about the work you're doing or going that extra mile to help out the company. So, I mean, what do you think about that? Do you think colleges should have more of a responsibility to teach people those sort of intangible things like motivation, passion, as opposed to just trying to plug them into the workforce as like a cog?
I think so. I think people need to learn what they like and dislike because these kids are studying whatever, let's say they're doing finance, but they're not doing internships or they're not working for it the whole time they're in college and then they get a job and they have no idea if they like it or not. Like how are you supposed to? I feel like you need to do, even if it's just you're making money, you're finding out what you like and you don't like, and you're just, I don't know, you're learning more about yourself if you're doing a job, even if that's not what you want to do. It's just something to learn from.
Why do you think people are so complacent, or I guess like they procrastinate getting those internships?
I think for some kids, it's just they think they're just gonna get a job right out of college doing like nothing throughout college. Like they have the connections, they know they're gonna get it. They don't have the drive to go and do the internships, which I think it is. Like they just want to have fun summers, not work. Which like I kind of get that, but you need to do something today, now, during this summer that's gonna help you later on in life and get that like job and stuff.
Do you think it's a cultural thing that people sort of come in thinking that, oh, my degree is going to be the cure all to my problems? If I get a degree, oh, I'll finally be able to get that job.
Yeah, it's how you're raised, I feel like. Like, if you're handed everything in life, you're gonna think you're gonna be handed that job right when you graduate. But for people, transfers even, you're working to get to the place you wanna be. Like, we knew we wanted to be at SC, but there's so much we had to do before that. Like, we transferred from another college. You had to get to that point of, like, getting into SC, like, you have that drive to get in SC, and it's just, I don't know, I feel like a lot of these kids are just handed everything. And so they don't have that drive to like get themselves ahead of like everyone else. It's just like they're all kind of the same. People are just really handed, especially in America. Kids are handed like everything. They don't have a job out of high school. They don't
Spoon
work for
fed.
anything. Yes, that's the word.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think that's definitely something that I tend to go back to. I probably sound like a broken record by now, but it is about that drive and that purpose that transfers bring. The fact that, like you said, you had to figure it out. You had to fulfill, whatever requirements you did at your old college to be able to transfer. Coming in, knowing what made you want to transfer. You sort of have an idea of where you fit into the equation, which I think a lot of people don't have, which is so important just to understand like your strengths. Because everyone talks about, mitigating your weaknesses, right? Like, oh, if you're not good at this, you should improve it. screw that, screw your weaknesses. Focus on your strengths, what you can really bring. But not a lot of people do that. Not a lot of people do self-analysis and analyze, how they fit in, what their strengths are. Like you said, you're great with people. You're a happy person. So I mean, human resources seems like a natural thing. And just like the ability to communicate to someone else, like, hey, I've thought about myself and thought about where I can fit in. I mean, that just shows immense maturity and just intelligence, the fact that you can sit back and do analysis on yourself. I don't think people do that enough or at all.
Funny how you said the strengths and weaknesses thing, because we actually just did that in the BUAD 304 class. And we were talking about how people really focus on their weaknesses and improving your weaknesses. If you focus on your weaknesses constantly, that's just going to put you down. It's not going to do anything. If you focus on your strengths, you're improving yourself.
It's a lot easier to see the negative than it is the positive, which is why people spend a lot of the time focusing on what they're not good at.
Mhm.
The thing is like there's a reason that you're not good at those things. And so why would you try and make something happen that just wasn't destined to happen? And like you said, like well-rounded, I know that most colleges want you to be well-rounded, which is why they look at extracurriculars and all that sort of stuff to see that you're a versatile person. But it's very easy to fall into the trap of doing too many things. There's a saying, jack of all trades, master of none. You're average in everything, but you're not good at one thing. I think Google labeled it as like a T-shaped person. So like you're sort of average across a couple of things, but then there's one thing that you are the best at. And I think that's, where the sort of the strengths and weaknesses come in. It's like, okay, what's my strongest strength? I'm going to go balls deep into that and really focus on that strength. And then the weaknesses, I'll mitigate them as much as I can. I don't have to become the best at them, but at least it adds, I guess, spice to that one strength, to have these sort of complementing skills. So an example would be you're really good like engineering or building, like, doing software development, but then you've also got like a sales marketing skills as well. So you can actually sell the technology you're building. That is way, way better than just trying to be a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit there. You can't really offer anything to anyone. It's like, oh, I'm good at this, but I'm also good at this. But it's like, okay, but it doesn't really give me an idea of how you fit into the organization or what you can offer. I think it's very important that young people definitely spend more time just doing a bit of self-analysis. I mean, they teach you how to do it in business, right? In your business classes. SWOT analysis, market analysis. It's like, why don't you apply that to yourself?
I know. A lot of people don't. And I think what you were saying about just people spreading themselves too much, getting into college is such a competitive process. And people think like, oh, you need all these things. Like, you just need to do literally everything. But that's what everyone thinks. Like, why not focus on the one thing that you're really passionate about and just drive that like point? Because that's what's gonna help you. If you're so passionate about that, it's just that will put you above other people who are just doing things just because it looks good, not because they're truly passionate about it.
Why did you get involved with the transfer student community? If you're so independent, why did you feel the need to join a student organization?
Yeah, I just wanted to feel more a part of something on campus, being a part of something that I knew, and just meeting other transfers is one of like the big reasons, and just like feeling more involved on campus and like finding a place on campus, which I think TSC has really offered like myself.
Would you feel proud to talk about your involvement with TSC in a job interview? Would you put it on your resume?
100%.
What do you think you'd be able to talk about?
Because I'm doing recruitment, so then you're like reaching out to other people, meeting other people, seeing if like they'd fit in the club or not, helping the club grow and like flourish more than it like has, like branching the club out sort of.
Your HR for TSC, really.
Um,
You're onboarding people. That makes total sense. And I think people like devalue like involvement in student like organizations. Do you see that? Do you see people not sort of taking advantage of the fact that there are great student organizations that they can have relevant business experience in? Like, for example, you doing recruiting,
mhm.
that can very much tie into where you want to go in human resources. People undervalue that sort of stuff.
I think so. I think, especially in college with like Greek life too, people get into the Greek life and they're like, this is all I want to do. Yet there's so many opportunities, organizations that are on campus that you could get involved in that are gonna help you with your career and like where you want to go after. Especially, I mean, in Marshall, there's so many organizations just within Marshall that like you could be a part of to get ahead of like your career and like where you are in your big life.
To keep it practical,
Hmm.
are there any tips that you would offer any young girls coming up into the transfer process, going through the transfer process, maybe even doing business, whether that be life tips, college tips, or something that really helped you personally throughout your life?
I think one of the main things would be not to get discouraged. There are hard points of like even the transfer process. You can't be hard on yourself, too hard on yourself, or it's just gonna demotivate you so much. Like you have to pick yourself up. What you're doing now is gonna help you in the future. And so even though you might be in like a hard point, just to like keep pushing and like getting through that and not to bring yourself down and like focusing on something that's a negative, just like focus on the positives and like keep pushing forward because you're gonna end up where you want to be.
Awesome. Well, Haley, thanks for taking the time with me.
The transfer student
The transfer student
experience.
experience. The transfer student